Fellow wedding officiant, you and I are quite literally the center of attention. We are the focal point at the middle of everything going on in the wedding ceremony. But did you know you do not need to hog the spotlight the entire time? You are the crucial part of the wedding ceremony, but there are 3 times where it's best to step aside in the wedding ceremony. I'll teach you exactly when those moments are and what to do. Now, when you're officiating a wedding, here's how it typically starts. You walk down the center aisle. Everyone's talking. Nobody's paying attention. You walk down that aisle. You get to the front. In the middle, you turn. You face everybody. And you give your opening remarks. Now, I would recommend keeping those opening remarks very brief, keeping your self-introduction down to a sentence or 2. Hello, my name is Mark. It is my honor to officiate this wedding today. And you move on. You don't make it about yourself in the opening or your self-introduction. Similarly, when it's time to give your officiant speech, the part where you talk in the wedding ceremony, I advise make it about the couple. I tell the couple's story. Keep it about them. You do have the option to give your opinions, your commentary, your advice, wag your finger, all that stuff. Love means this, marriage means that. But again, I would recommend keep it all about the couple as much as you can. So as the wedding officiant, we are front and center. We are doing 95% of the talking, but we are always reflecting back onto the people who this day is about. It is about our couple getting married. So when you keep your introduction brief, you keep your officiant speech all about your couple, we are saying with our words, we're making it about them. Well, guess what? You can use your body to make the same point, and even more so, and more strongly. So here are the 3 parts where you can use your body to literally, physically step aside, get out of the way in the wedding ceremony, and keep it all about your couple getting married. Here they are. The very first time to step aside in the wedding ceremony is the processional. Now, I've officiated countless weddings, and almost every single one of them has this same thing in common. One marrier is standing at the front with me, and the other marrier is coming down the aisle towards them. Marrier is contemporary, gender-inclusive language that can mean bride or groom. Now, when this is happening, one marrier coming down the aisle, one marrier standing up at front, when you have the officiant's vantage point, you will notice a couple of things happening. First of all, you will notice that when marrier A, let's say, walks in at the back, at the top of the aisle, all the guests will turn to look at marrier A. Similarly, the photographer will turn, keep their lens focused on marrier A's big entrance. I talk in the rehearsal that marrier A needs to stop at the back row, collect themselves before proceeding down the aisle. But people don't just stay frozen, fixed on marrier A. No, you will notice when you're the officiant and in that position, the guests all turn and look, of course, at marrier B. The guests want to see their reaction. Are they crying? Are they laughing? Are they hysterical? What's going on with marrier B? They're curious. They want to take in that moment. And of course, the photographer as well either swivels their lens to take photos of marrier B looking at marrier A coming in, or there's an entire second shooter there taking pictures of marrier B and their reaction. And on it goes. The guests will turn, marrier A, turn, look at marrier B, back and forth. And one thing you'll notice as the officiant is you are standing really close to marrier B and all that action and all that attention. When I started out officiating, I wouldn't give this a second thought. I am front and center, I am in my place, and I'm going to stand there rooted like a tree for the entire ceremony. As years went on and more weddings went by, I started realizing, though, that I'm in this radius of energy and emotional response of marrier B. And it just kind of came to me that I don't think I need to be here for this. I don't need to be doing 2 things. First of all, photobombing the photographer taking pictures of marrier B and all the guests looking at them. So I don't need to be in the vision of marrier B. And also, I think I'm doing what I would call just emotion bombing. They're crying, they're laughing, they're smiling, and I'm standing there, literally the professional paid chump, I don't want to say chump, but guy who's, I'm basking in this, but I'm not feeling the same feelings as intensely as marrier B. And so I had the thought, what if I just step away from this hallowed moment and make room for it to happen? Get out of the intimacy happening between marrier A and marrier B in this moment. So I clued in and I said, I think I'm going to step aside and get out of the way for this part of the wedding ceremony. This is what I recommend for you. Here's what that looks like. After you finish your opening remarks and you say, let's begin, the processional music starts. Now, perhaps there's a whole bunch of wedding attendants to come down, bridesmaids, kids, animals, however it is, but once they're all in, it is time for marrier A to enter. So, we ask, please stand. Everyone stands. Marrier A makes their entrance at the back. Maybe the song changes for their walk-in. And of course, everyone does that thing. They turn, then they turn back to marrier A. But before they turn back, when you see marrier A enter and everybody turns, that is your cue, my friend. You are not needed as the wedding officiant or celebrant in this moment. So what I do is, typically if it's a groom to my left, I will then take a couple of steps to the right to marrier A's wedding attendant, say a maid of honor, standing on my right, and give marrier B the space to soak it all in, to have everybody looking at them, to have photographers taking pictures of them, and guess what? You're not there. And that's a good thing because at this point of the ceremony, you are not needed. Now, when marrier A makes their way all the way down the aisle, we practice this in rehearsal. I say stop at the front, and maybe marrier A has some sort of escort, a parent or something. Maybe this is the part where you ask one of the questions, who gives this woman, or an alternative, do you stand here in support? Maybe there's no question. Either way, you are probably going to be needed at this point. So when they get to the front and stop at the front row, that is when it's best for you to move back to the center and deliver the question, or as we practice in the rehearsal, marrier B goes forward, receives marrier A, takes them by the hand, walks towards you, the officiant celebrant, front and center, holds hands. If it's a bride, she'll usually hand her bouquet off to her attendant. They hold hands in front of you, and now you need to be front and center and do your thing. It's time to talk. It's time to command the attention, ask everyone to be seated, and you are now a crucial part of the moments to follow. Okay, so you stay in that center point, you give your talk, all that stuff, until it's time for the second crucial moment to step aside in the wedding ceremony, and that is the vows. Easily the most intimate part of the wedding ceremony, I would say the most important part of the wedding ceremony, is when the couple exchange their vows. The thing about a wedding ceremony is not only is this moment intensely intimate for the couple, one of the most intimate moments of their lives, I would argue, but it is also public. That is what makes a wedding ceremony so unique. It's not happening in private on date night on a sofa or in some park or in the corner booth of an Italian restaurant. It's happening in front of all of us. They are exchanging promises and we're all watching. But it's intimate, which means you do not necessarily need to be here for this part if they have opted to write and read their own vows. Now, there's 3 styles of saying vows. The couple write and read their own. They repeat after you line by line by line, or you ask them a big long question and they just say, I do. I have a whole separate video on the 3 styles of wedding vows and how to best say them. The latter 2, repeat after me, or I say a big long question and you just say, I do. Of course, you need to remain front and center. A lot of couples opt for that first option, though, write and read their own. And what you will see a lot of times in weddings is the wedding officiant or celebrant takes the microphone and plunges it into the face. Should I do your face or should I do mine? Whichever one it is, the couple are having this beautiful, intimate moment, and the wedding officiant is right there, hovering with the mic. And it can be the most beautiful, intimate thing that this couple are exchanging, or it can be quite intruded upon by the officiant, either standing there with a mic or even without a mic, just beaming broadly, watching each of them pledge their entire lives and faithfulness till death do them part. I'm arguing here that wedding officiant, you are not needed for this part. And so what I've started doing is stepping aside, when the couple are reading their own vows to each other. And so here's what that looks like. When we get to the part where it's time to exchange vows, I say the couple will now exchange vows, something to that effect, a little bit more flowery in the ceremony. But I ask the couple to write their own vows ahead of time. Do not try to get them to wing it or recite the vows. Not a good idea. They are in my binder, in a sheet, printed up nicely. I hand the marrier their sheet. I take the mic off the stand. I hand it to the marrier. So now marrier is holding vows in one hand, mic in the other, and that is my cue. I can now step out of the way and watch along with the wedding attendants, bridesmaids, groomsmen, etc., and the guests, and I do not need to be there. Once the first marrier is done saying their vows, I will take their vow sheet, put it in my binder. They will hand the mic to their wedding partner getting married, the other marrier. I will then take their vows, hand it to them, and step back again. So you come in briefly to do the paper exchange and then leave again and just watch this beautiful, intimate moment transpire along with everybody else. You do not need to be there pressing a microphone into their face by any means. Now, I have had some fellow officiant celebrant colleagues who are used to holding the mic and say, wait a minute, I need to hold the mic for them because they need to hold hands during this part. To which I say, it would be lovely if they could hold hands during their vows. They've been holding hands through the whole ceremony, the way I conduct a ceremony, holding hands facing each other while I tell their story and all that good stuff happens. So would it be ideal if they could hold hands for this part? Perhaps, and they do when they repeat their own vows, or just I read them the big long question and they say, I do. However, I think that whatever you gain by having them hold hands and hold their vow sheet and you pressing their mic into their face, you lose by doing exactly that. You gained something by having them hold hands. Oh, that's really nice. But you lost it when you've pressed the mic into their face and you're there. Maybe your hand starts to shake. The guests are wondering, is the officiant going to be okay? These vows are pretty long. They're thinking about you when they should not be thinking about you at all. So I am not going to belabor the point. I'm just going to recommend there is no need for you to be there, especially for doing something as simple as holding a mic, which most able-bodied couples are able to do. Of course, if there are physical limitations here and you need to do that, then do it. But if the couple have two arms, they can hold a mic with one, their vow sheet with the other, and look into the other's eye, read their sheet, and you don't need to be anywhere near that action. It's way more intimate, it's way more beautiful when it's two of them, not three of you. So when the second marrier has done their turn, that's when you step back to the center, take their vow sheets, put it back in your binder, and you can continue the ceremony, rings, etc., any other rituals, until the third critical moment when you need to step aside in the wedding ceremony, and that is the kiss. A quick Google search of wedding ceremony kiss photo or wedding ceremony first kiss will reveal, of course, a couple who has just been pronounced, locked in an embrace, kissing each other under some sort of arbor festooned with flowers. It's absolutely beautiful. But if you look closely, you'll also notice something else. You might notice an elbow. You might notice a tuft of hair. You might notice the side of a face. And that is if it's covert. If it's very overt, you'll notice the officiant right between them, maybe off to one side, making some sort of smiley face. Or, even worse than that, is looking down at their wedding notes very seriously while the other couple are, again, sharing this beautiful, physical, intimate moment. The other thing you might see is the officiant doing this, leaving, walking out while they're kissing, looking like they're fleeing the scene of a crime. We need to avoid all of this stuff. So we need to get out of the way, and other photographers say, a lot of photographers say, if you can't be out of the way, then stay there and we'll just deal with you watching, gawking at the couple kissing. But what ideally we will do is we will be well out of the way before the couple even get to the point where they're starting to kiss. Here's how you do that. Typically, the couple kiss right after you pronounce them married, right? So you are going to say, here's what I say. In every ceremony, I say, well, I close my binder. It's typically after the rings, maybe a blessing. Well, with nothing left to be said, in front of your closest friends and family, and by the authority given me by the province of New Brunswick, I pronounce you married. You may now kiss. And off they go kissing. I do not wait until I say you may now kiss to start moving, because then I'll be doing one of these, right? So instead, I start moving when I start saying province of New Brunswick. Did you catch how once I get to that part, by the authority given me by the province of New Brunswick, I pronounce you married. You may kiss. See how I'm not going to, but you get the point, where it's 3 seconds or so, enough time for me to start moving out of the way. I grab the mic stand. Again, I recommend, that's a whole other video about microphones. Don't be left holding the mic. Make sure it's on a stand. It causes a lot of trouble if you're trying to hold it and juggle your script. I pick up the mic stand, Elvis Presley style, and I start to walk away with it when I pronounce them. That way, I am well out of the shot, typically behind one of the attendants, a best man, a maid of honor, that kind of thing, and I'm watching the kiss, and I'm applauding the kiss along with all their attendants, all their guests, but I am nowhere to be seen on a good day, whenever I can, when the couples start to kiss, okay? So that's what I recommend for you. Figure out what your pronouncement is, but before you get to you may kiss, or groom, you may kiss your bride, or whatever your language would be well out of the side by the time you say those words. Don't worry, everyone can hear you. The couple will know what to do, and you will not be, again, photo bombing or emotion bombing that beautiful moment that the couple are sharing and that really nobody wants you to be there for. You do not need to be there for their kiss. So, fellow wedding officiant, you are a crucial, indispensable part for 95% of that wedding ceremony, but there are those 3 moments where, no offense, nobody wants to see our faces, nobody wants to see us in the photo. So that, of course, is, to review, in the processional. You can keep your distance from Mary or B. It is during the vows. Give them that beautiful, intimate moment, but it is public and you don't need to be there for it. And for the kiss, get out of the way, let them do their thing, and then come back to the center to give your closing remarks when they're done, or sign the registry, or whatever comes next in the ceremony. Graciously step aside for those 3 moments, get out of the way, and your need not to be noticed and not to be present for those moments will be graciously appreciated by your couple, the photographer, and everyone at the wedding. Hope you like this. If it was helpful, hit the like button, leave me a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you never miss a new video all about how to officiate a wedding. Have a good one.